So welcome back, my dears. Christine Hill with Sunshine Prosthetics, also known as the Leg Lady. When my patients are introducing me, oftentimes I usually just say, hey, here's my leg lady. It's a lot easier than saying, hey, here's my prosthetist. Welcome to the channel. If you are new, glad to have you. We talk all about prosthetics and caring for people with limb loss. And so if that is something you're interested in, please like this video and subscribe, and comment down below if you have any specific questions as it relates to prosthetics. Or we'll also talk occasionally about, I hate the term and idea behind work-life balance, but I'm all about that integrated life, and my work life is very intimately integrated with my family life and my home life. And on that, we'll open this video. This last weekend, my family and I were actually able to get together with our work family and had an awesome time. So we'll start this video off with that little weekend rewind. But if that doesn't interest you at all, just go ahead and use those timestamps, and you can go ahead and just skip on ahead.
He would have no expression.
Two horses have eyebrows.
Oh my gosh. No, boob, sorry.
We are on our way to follow up with a patient. He has a left transfemoral prosthesis. Looking at his right foot, we're looking at what color is it? Are there any odd smells? Is it hot or cold to the touch? Because that could be indicative of either possibly an infection or possibly not getting enough blood flow circulation to the distal limb. Also looking to see pitting edema. If you press the skin, how long does it take for color to come back? And you can see he does have a little bit of edema around the top of his sock area. So he is going to be having an ultrasound to take a look and make sure that there's no issues with blood flow and circulation. And when it comes to looking at his distal limb, you can see where it's red and also where he has a little bit of a blister. What was going on is I asked the patient to put on his liner. So again, the liner, if you're not familiar, is a gel, typically a gel or silicone gel piece that rolls onto their limb. So this is the interface between the socket and their skin, and oftentimes it's also the suspension, how the leg stays on their limb. When putting it on, you just want to roll it completely inside out. And when I asked him to put on his liner, he had it like this, and put it directly on his limb. So that's part of the problem. When you don't have it completely flat, that's how you want it before you put it on the limb. You want it completely flat, because if it's not completely flat like how he had it, when you put it on, you can get air trapped in here, and that's one thing that he said. He did feel like there was air and a little bit of space distally. And if you have that distal space, that's going to cause some of the issues that we're seeing. That red is basically like getting a hickey. So you're going to be getting that redness. You're going to be getting potentially water blisters as well. So that's, again, where we just want to be educating and re-educating. Don't put on a liner like this. Make sure, as much as you can, that is completely flat before you put it on the end of the limb, so you are reducing any sort of air pockets or vacuum that could potentially cause skin issues, like that little blister and that redness, that skin irritation that we saw. Next patient appointment for this afternoon isn't a typical patient appointment. I'm actually going to meet with the patient's wife. I was supposed to be seeing the patient for a follow-up appointment this afternoon, but yesterday the wife called to notify me that the patient had passed away. And it's, you know, with the type of relationships that we strive to have with our patients, they are our patients for life. And, you know, we have that continued follow-up care, that continued relationship, that continued support as they're meeting their milestones with their prosthesis. I am at least glad that we make ourselves available when we do have family members that are grieving. So we're just going to stop by today, got some flowers to bring to her, and just spend some time talking with her. I've gotten to know his wife really well, and with most of our patients, you really get to build a good relationship with not just the patient, but their family and their caregivers as well. So for our next appointment this afternoon, we're going to be fitting and delivering a transfemoral full leg today. She has what is called basically a manual locking knee. This is typically what we use for kind of like our therapy or as a rehab knee, especially for patients who have some lower extremity muscle weakness, or they just might not have adequate balance yet, or if safety is a concern. This is typically the knee that we're going to be going for those type of patients, because typically how we'll instruct the patient in therapy to use this knee is you lift this lever, and that's connected to a cable in the back of the knee that will release it and allow it to bend. So we're pulling up on the lever for the knee to bend, and when they go up to stand, they'll be squeezing these muscles to help pull the socket back. And once this knee is fully straight, they can put weight on it and that knee isn't going anywhere. So at this point, initially, they're going to be essentially walking with a peg leg. That knee isn't going to bend and swing as they're walking, because like I said, this is typically our rehab type knee. So patients who are weaker, don't quite have the strength, balance, or security or confidence yet, and where safety might be a little bit more of a concern, this is what we're going for, so that they don't have to worry about that knee bending underneath them. They can just focus on weight shifting, balance exercises, learning to trust the knee and learning to trust the prosthesis. And once they reach that milestone, then it has a second option where you can bring this all the way up and it will click into place. At that point, it acts basically like a hinged knee, where it's free to bend, it's free to swing. It's essentially acting as a door hinge. Alright guys, so looks like we will be fitting tomorrow instead. She was just having a lot of anxiety today, just really anxious about fitting the new leg, especially with, you know, this is a patient that she had a bad previous experience and had a lot of pain and discomfort before and was never able to use the previous prosthesis, and, you know, was told that she would never be able to walk with a prosthesis. And so delivery take 2, and so proud of her. Still wasn't super excited about it, but she did awesome. Very proud of what she was able to accomplish today, and very grateful for such a just really thoughtful and caring rehab team. She did awesome today. We stood up 2 or 3 times, twice, and both times was at least for 3 minutes, give or take, and practice weight shift exercising, taking steps in place. And she didn't report any nerve pain afterwards. Did make sure we did that massaging afterwards, and left her in therapy with kind of the game plan moving forward. Alright, so that's all I got for this week. Make sure you subscribe so you can get notified of the next video if you want to see more behind the scenes prosthetics and caring for people on the road. If you guys have any questions at all about prosthetics or anything that you're interested in, go ahead and do that and comment down below. I'd love to get your questions, and just thank you for joining me on this journey and as we kind of build this community. And you guys take care. Mwah.